The Bucks versus the Pacers playoff series, I think, is going to be the most highly contested series in the East. Very comparable to the series that we talked about before between the Clippers and the Nuggets, and this makes sense. Seedings-wise, I mean the 4 and the 5 seed across both areas is usually the most highly contested series that we see. Now, when we look at the stats, both of these teams nearly identical offensively, nearly identical defensively, but there is one major thing that is standing out. Damian Lillard. Now, it was supposed to be the case that Lillard would be missing this whole series, but he has miraculously come back from his injury in a time span that they said is superhero-like. And he will be missing game 1, but it seems like he's going to be ramping up practice and potentially coming back at some point in this series. Will it be too late? Are there some advanced statistics that we can use to see which team will get the edge? We can look at the regular season stats as well. Let's take a deeper dive into what I think will be the most highly contested series in the playoffs in the Eastern side in this first round. Now, laying down the groundwork, when we look at the odds on this series, very, very highly contested. I mean, the Pacers minus 165, the Bucks plus 135. When we look in the East, comparing that to these other series, the Knicks and the Pistons, Knicks are minus 400, Celtics obviously minus 5,000. Whoever the Cavs play, I'm sure they're going to be a heavy favorite as well. So this is definitely the most highly contested series in the East, no doubt about it. But when we look at the spread and the exact outcome, the correct score, it's very interesting because when we look at these outcomes, right, the Pacers are the most favorite odds-wise is the Pacers at plus 360 to win 4-3 in 7 games. But then right after that at plus 400, it's Pacers in 5 winning 4-1. So that's interesting to look at. Then the Bucks winning in 6 games at plus 425. And then the Pacers and the Bucks to sweep are 2 of the lowest, or the Bucks to win in 5. So when we look at it, they're predicting that either the Pacers are going to win in 7 or in 5, or the Bucks are going to win in 6, or the Pacers are going to win in 6, all around that plus 360 to plus 500 area. So we really don't know what's going to happen in this series. And I think the main reason is because of this regular season series, because of the stats that we can look at. Both of these teams played just about a month ago at this point. They played March 11th and they played March 15th. That first game, March 11th, the Pacers win 115 to 114. March 15th, the Bucks win 126 to 119. They played on New Year's Eve, which is almost an eternity ago when we're talking about the NBA, when how much these teams have grown since then. The Bucks won 120 to 112. But in those last 2 games in March, the main difference was the Pacers did win, the Bucks won. Yes, they both won 1 game. Relatively close. I mean, depending on what you want to say with that second game, the Bucks winning by 7. Damian Lillard played in both of those games, and he's going to miss some time to start this series. Do we know exactly how much? No. We know he's going to miss at least game 1, and that could be a massive swing, and I understand why the odds are so close between 7 games and 5 games. Like, if Dame's going to miss the first few games, the Pacers could get this done somewhat easily. But if Dame is going to come back quick, maybe the Pacers win game 1 and 2, maybe just game 1, and then Dame comes back and this team is fully rejuvenated. Now, when we look statistically at these 2 teams this season, right? Both of these teams, the Pacers were 7th in points per game this year at 117. The Bucks were 11th at 115. So, not very much of a difference there when we look at it compared to all these other teams, both great offenses. Offensive rating as well. The Pacers were 9th, the Bucks were 10th. When we talk about defensive rating, both of these teams pretty close as well. The Bucks were 12th and the Pacers were 14th. So, I mean, we can bring in the net rating as well, but both of these teams very, very close in comparison. Net ratings wise, the Bucks were at 2.4 at 11th. The Pacers 2.1 at 13th. They were tied for 12th with the Pistons. However you want to look at that, both at 2.1. But both of these teams statistically are so close, and that's why this matchup is so close. But that main thing is Damian Lillard being out. Like, that is a massive hit to this team. Before, when we looked at this team, they had a guy in Chris Middleton, all-star level guy, won them a championship when Giannis was there as well, was able to carry the load when Giannis was out. And that's also another thing that I feel like isn't talked about enough. People are saying Giannis might go on this 2018 LeBron playoff run and bring this team pretty far, which I don't think is too far-fetched to say. We know how good Giannis is, but he's only played in 3 playoff games since 2022. He played in Game 1, Game 4, and then Game 5 against Miami in 2023, where Miami would beat them, right? Miami, the 8th seed, would go out there and beat the Bucks in that series when Giannis was hurt to go into the finals, get beat by the Nuggets, but we all know that story. But Giannis, realistically, he only played 10 minutes in that Game 1, so it has been over 2 years up to this point since Giannis has played in or even won a playoff game. The last time he won a playoff game was in 2022, so it's been a long time. It's very different. The playoffs and the regular season, completely different vibe going into this game. These teams are going to be giving everything. As we know, the regular season, many teams, people don't get excited for these because so many players are out, they're sitting out, they're missing all these games. We know how many players this year are going to be missing those All-NBA teams due to injury and sitting out because of the 65-game rule, but the postseason, completely different. These teams are going to be going out there and getting it. So I think that is a massive factor. Damian Lillard being out, obviously a massive factor. But the one thing that I do want to mention too as well, people are forgetting that this Pacers team was in the conference finals last year, right? Yes, they got swept by the Celtics, but that first game, going to overtime, Jaylen Brown makes an insane shot in the corner. They lose by 2 possessions. I believe it was 5 points in overtime in that first game. Second game, they get blown out. Game 3 and Game 4, they lose both of those games by 3. That's a very competitive sweep. Now, I'm not saying that they should have won those games. They had a chance to. The Celtics went on to win the finals, but if we count the games that the Celtics played against the Mavericks, obviously the Mavericks won a game, so that's different. But these Pacers were playing very, very competitive against the Celtics. 1 possession game, 2 possession games in 3 out of those 4 games, and an insane shot in Game 1. Let's say Jaylen Brown doesn't make that and the Pacers win Game 1. Who knows what we're talking about? But this team is still very, very competitive. Tyrese Halliburton turns up in the second half of the season. It seems like an annual thing where that first half people are like, oh, well, this guy's so overrated. Then the second half, he comes out, he balls out, putting up 20 and 10 every game, it seems like. And when we're talking about second options, we have all-star Pascal Siakam on one side with a guy like Tyrese Halliburton. And then on the other side, obviously Giannis, one of the best players in the NBA, has been playing fantastic. But then your second option is Kyle Kuzma. And Kyle Kuzma is a very, very different second option than Chris Middleton before. I know a lot of people like to give Chris Middleton some flack and maybe want to discredit him because of his recent performances, but let's not act like he wasn't one of the guys when Milwaukee was competing for that championship and when they were having those deep playoff runs as well outside of just that championship year. This guy is a baller, and now to replace him, you're going to have Kyle Kuzma go step up and be that second option. I'm not really too comfortable with that. Bobby Portis as well. I love Bobby Portis, but realistically, we're comparing Pascal Siakam as the second option to Bobby Portis / Kyle Kuzma with no Damian Lillard. Can Giannis go out there and get it done by himself? Yes. I don't think anyone would say that that's crazy, that if Giannis goes out there and drops 40, 10, and 10 a night, that this Bucks team has a chance to win. But I just think realistically, that time that he's spent out with the playoffs, I don't want to wish any injuries or anything, but we don't know if he's even going to be healthy in these playoffs. He has a history of getting hurt, so obviously we don't want to see that happen, but you have to account for that, right? There's a reason he's been hurt in these playoffs before. He's definitely not, I wouldn't want to call him injury prone, but it seems like he does get hurt in these playoffs almost every year now. So, in my opinion, I think the Pacers are going to win this series. Yes, I know they're the favorite, so that may be not as much of a hot take to some, but a hot take to others. I think this is going to be a very competitive series, like I said, and I think overall, the Pacers just have more of a complete team without Dame, and who knows what's going to happen by the time Dame comes back. Is it going to be enough, or are they going to be too far in at that point? Let me know down below what you guys think, because like I said, this is probably the most competitive series in the East in this first round. So let me know who you guys have winning that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.